Hey, welcome back. So, before jumping into a practical session in Jupyter Notebook, let's have a quick view and get the difference between what is a function and what exactly is a method and what's the difference between them. So, you already have seen a lot of functions, you have already seen a bit of methods, but let's correlate both of these and look into exactly how differentiable they are with each other. Let's start with function. So a function is a block of code to carry out a specific task. All functions may contain zero or no arguments or more than one argument on exist. A function can or cannot return one or more values. It depends upon how the code you have written out. If you could recall, we have def keyword and then the function name, and then inside of it we have the arguments, and after that you have the expression. Then we have return function 2 if you want to return any value out of it. So that's about function. Let's look into the syntax of function. So we have again def function name, argument 1, argument 2, and then the function body. In the function body you can write whatever expression statements that you are gonna have that you need, and at the end you can also pass out and return function. So if you want to return any value, you can just write out, let's say, return arg1 into the power of arg1 into 2. Okay, so the square of arg1, if you want to pass that, it's quite easy. You just have to write return function and then r square. So that's how and basic function syntax looks like. Now let's look into method. A method is in Python is somewhat similar to a function, except it is associated with object and classes. Methods in Python are very similar to function except for two major differences. The first one, the method is implicitly used for an object for which it is called. So I hope by now you are clear with what is explicit and implicit. The second difference is the method is accessible to data that is contained within the class. So in the class, if you have any data variable, so let's look into class, and over here I have some variables. Over here I have some methods. In this methods we can access all the data members that we are having inside of that. So that's a good point for methods. Okay, again that should be inside an object also, so make sure you have all of these points. Let's look into the syntax. So we have class name, then we have def method name. Okay, and after defining the class, this is how a method looks like, and then we have the method body, quite similar to what we had in our normal functions, right? Just a function inside a class, and all these functions can be accessed via an object, and these can have all the data variables or data members or anything assigned with data inside the class and access them out. Now the key difference between method and function in Python is, so unlike a function, methods are called on an object. Like in our example, let's call a method my method on the object cat, whereas the function sum is called without any object. Also, because the method is called on an object, it can be accessed that data within it. So that's about method. Method can access the data that is present inside a class, but functions are like quite independent. It is just what it tells about what it does. Unlike method, which can alter the other state, Python function does not do this and normally operates on it. In short, a method is a function that belongs to a object. So that's a lot of theory that we covered out. Now let's jump into Jupyter Notebook and get some hands-on experience on methods. So we have looked into what are functions, what are methods, what's the key difference between them, and now we are going to look into how to apply methods in Python.